Hello and welcome to episode 12 of Healing Vibrations. This is the broadcast that challenges and changes perception of illness to see if we can see it as a gift. So my name is Gina Dallison and I'm very excited to be joined with me today, Kim Kenny. So Kim, I know from we were both on a coaching program, I don't know, it must be a good year or so ago now.
I think it's a couple years ago.
Wow. Time goes a bit quickly, doesn't it, where we first met. So Kim, thank you for joining me, and I'll let you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about why you're here and what you're up to.
Thank you. Well, my name's Kim Kenny. I am a mom of 4, and I have a son-in-law and 2 daughters-in-law as well. And then I'm mama to 6 grandchildren, 3 boys and 3 girls.
Wow.
Which I love. And I work as an administrative assistant, and also I am a weight loss mindset coach. So I keep myself pretty busy with grandkids and work and my coaching business.
Definitely. So, and tell us more, because the reason we've obviously connected and we've had conversations in the past when we were on the same coaching program, and we'll maybe talk about a little bit of that later on. But the reason I was inspired to ask you to join me on this podcast was your journey with cancer, that you're right in the middle of at the moment, aren't you?
I am. I just finished the halfway mark with my chemo treatment. So
wow.
The end of the last Wednesday of November, I was sitting on the couch one night and I felt a pain in my chest, and I thought, oh, why is that hurting? And I felt a lump about the size of the end of my thumb. And my first thought was, oh, it's just my imagination. It's no big deal. But I kept feeling both sides and they didn't feel the same. So I called my doctor the next day and he got me in the following day to see him.
Wow.
And looked really concerned. So that was a late Friday afternoon. And he gave me an emergency requisition for an ultrasound. Of course, they were closed by the time I finished with him. So I had to wait until Monday. So all weekend long, I'm thinking, what's going on here? I called on Monday to get the appointment and they said, oh, we're not booking for at least 2-3 weeks from now. And I said, no, it's not acceptable. He said, well, maybe go to emergency if you can get in there. And so I hung up and I was getting ready. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to emergency. I'm going to make somebody do an ultrasound. And she called back just a little bit later and said, we just had a cancellation for the next day.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'll take it. And then my doctor had said, depending on what the ultrasound says, we may need to do a mammogram. And I thought, well, I'm not waiting. So I called mammography and I was due for one anyway. And they said, we just had a cancellation open up on Wednesday.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had my ultrasound and mammogram. And then the following week I saw the surgeon and everything just went bang, bang, bang from there. The week after I saw the surgeon, he booked me for a biopsy. We had Christmas around there. So there was a 2-week waiting period before I heard from my oncologist. But by the time Christmas was over, they said, yep, all right, here's your appointment. We're going to have our first consultation. We'll be doing 8 weeks of chemo every other week. And it started in January. So I'm halfway through my chemo treatments now. And in a week and a half, I'll be starting. So they do 4 rounds of one type of chemo and then 4 rounds of another type for my particular type of cancer. So I'll be starting the next drug in a couple of weeks from now.
Wow. Well, can I first say how well you look?
Thank you.
And you've decided to share your experiences on social media, which is why I reconnected. And it's like, wow, like, and can I say, every time that you post about it, I see this big shiny smiley face, and yeah, you just look vibrant, which seems a bit odd. So how are you actually feeling?
I'm really actually feeling pretty good. The side effects have been very, very minimal. Usually the week after chemo, I'm tired. So I go to bed at 9 o'clock and I get up at 7 in the morning. And that's enough to get me through. I'm still working Monday to Friday, 9 to 3:30 at my office job. I haven't missed any time being sick. The only time I've missed is for my treatments. Yeah, the side effects have just been really minimal. I haven't been nauseous. I haven't been sick to my stomach. I did lose my hair.
Yeah, well, I saw that as well, and you took the brave approach of shaving it all off, didn't you?
I did. My hair was long. It was down like to the middle of
Yeah.
my back. And so my daughter's a hairstylist. So I said to her, let's cut it short in preparation because then it won't be so traumatic. Because I said to my doctor, is it actually going to fall out? He said, yeah, I'm sorry, like 100% chance it will fall out. So I thought, okay, at least if it's shorter, then it won't be as traumatic.
There's not as much, is there, I guess?
Yeah. So I went to my 2-week appointment and he says, oh, wow, you still have all your hair. Wow, you must have strong hair. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I'm going to.
Yeah, I'm going to nail this. Yeah.
Yeah. The next day, I'm in the shower and it's coming out like in chunks. And then the Sunday, it was even worse. And it hurts when it's coming out. Like it feels like pins and needles. That was, yeah, that was the worst part of it. Like I'd lay down at night, my head would hurt. So Sunday night, I texted my daughter and I said, let's shave this off. So
do this thing.
we booked it for the next night. And we were going to go live and do it. And then I said, I don't know how I'm going to take this. I don't know if I want to go live. So I didn't. She did bring reinforcements in because my daughter doesn't do too well with touchy-feely emotions. So she brought in a friend of ours who is the touchy-feely person and is good with emotions. But it was fine. Like she started shaving it and I was okay. I didn't cry. I felt strong because I was in control of what I was doing with my hair.
Yes, I can see.
I can see that. It felt better than it did Monday morning because Monday morning, the side that I sleep on, there was a bald patch. And so I had to kind of cover it with the rest of my hair. And that felt worse than having no hair. So
yeah, it's almost like fully embracing it. And I can see how that would be empowering. And actually, you look fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, and all this stuff that's going on in the news at the moment with
Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith and the old his poor wife with the alopecia thing. It's just bringing. You just don't know, do you? And actually there's a lady that I'm interviewing in a couple of weeks' time who's in my Toastmasters group who's been telling her story with alopecia as well. So it just feels like at the moment there's a lot of people that are being proud of being I've got a head under the hair.
Yes. And these cute little hats. My daughter said, let's get you some cute hats because it's cold out here.
Yeah.
So we went on Amazon and she's looking through and of course I'm looking at some and she's like, no, those are for old women. So these actually came in, these are toddler headbands.
Oh.
And they're really stretchy, so they fit. So we ordered them and they came the next day and I was fine. So yeah, I'm having fun wearing them. I wouldn't have normally worn anything like this with my hair, and it's been fun.
Yeah, something different.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you've almost had a ball through this. Is that your reality? Is this tell us what was really going on? When you first found that lump and you first. You were waiting for the initial sort of diagnosis, I guess.
Well, yeah, that was the scariest part. My first husband, the father of my kids, he passed away in August of 2021. So this was now the end of November where I'm realizing like something's wrong here. So the first thing that's going through my head is my poor kids and my grandkids. Like, are they going to lose somebody else? Like that was the scariest thing for me. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of how my kids and my grandkids are going to feel if I were to die. So that was the hardest part, was the waiting to see what it was and, you know, how far along it was, how severe. The great thing is my doctor said he's 100% certain that it will be cured. And in the 4 weeks.
Well, that gives you, that makes you feel a lot better, doesn't it?
Yeah, because then there's no death diagnosis. And then I was able to handle that a lot better because I knew that we would all get through it. I mean, we would get through it if I died as well, but I was worried for my kids. But after, so the tumor, when I found it, was the size of the end of my thumb. By my first appointment, it was 4 by 6 centimeters. So it had grown quite a bit. And then just on Friday, when I had my 4th treatment, so after 3 chemo treatments, it has shrunk to 2 by 2.
Wow.
So it's really shrunk a lot. And he's really certain that by the time I'm done the chemo and ready to do surgery to have the lump removed, that there'll be almost nothing left.
Oh, that's great news.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah, that must make you feel really good.
Yeah, it does.
So you talked about a couple of I don't know, synchronicities of life, shall we say, actually got you in there and sort of made everything seem a lot smoother than it could have been. So what would you put that down to then?
Well, being a person of faith, I'm going to put that down to God. God just opened the doors. And like, I know a couple of people right now who have also found lumps, and they've gone to their doctor because of my posts. But it's taking forever for them to get into their appointments. And I'm like, I can't believe this. Like, I got my ultrasound mammography was like within days, and then a week later was the biopsy. I can't believe how quickly everything happened. And I give that to God for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've always known you as somebody is like a high in faith, and also because, you know, what you do with your coaching, the mindset thing. So, you know, you're a very positive person anyway. But obviously we know about the importance of keeping that mindset in a good place. So is that something you've had to work on more through this journey, or tell me about that?
Not well. Okay, so I think me being a coach, and especially coaching on mindset, has really allowed me to get to this place now where I have a positive mindset. So it's like all of the things I've learned over the last number of years has brought me to this point where I can now be strong. Yeah. But I also had a girlfriend years ago. I can't remember how long ago it was. And she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And she had such a positive attitude during the whole thing. And I remember at the time just having this feeling like one day that's going to be me. And then I thought, no, you're not going to have breast cancer. But I thought, if it ever happens,
I want to be like that. Yeah.
So when I was diagnosed, I thought, all right, here's my opportunity to encourage other people and just help them to see some positivity in all of it.
Definitely.
And that's why I went. Go ahead.
Oh, that's where you went sort of online, and it's definitely, well, you said already, it's pushing people to, you know, to take their steps that they don't really want to take. Nobody really wants to have a diagnosis, but then not having a diagnosis and just trying to get rid of that, hide it somewhere doesn't work either. You have to face these things, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't go away if you avoid it.
No, no, it doesn't. So tell us a bit about how your faith has helped you, and how what you believe, I guess, in yeah, it's why we have these things, why these things are sent to try us.
I don't know. I That's a hard one, and I struggled with that for a little bit in the beginning, like why me? But then something I had read and it said, why not me? Like, what makes me any better than anybody else? Just because I have a strong faith in God doesn't mean that I am not going to have bad things happen. Bad things happen to everybody, and we don't know why they happen. But I believe that you need to make the best out of every situation, and that God can take a situation and turn it around, and he can shine through it. And for me, being able to get these appointments so quickly and having very minimal side effects from the chemo, like, I give all of that to God. And I don't know why I don't have the side effects. I mean, I may with the next round, I don't know, but, and I don't know why some people get them. I honestly don't know, but I'm so thankful. And it, as you've seen in my posts, I just want to keep thanking God for bringing me to where I am, and hoping that encourages other people.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I don't talk about God as such, but I think it's what you call it is sort of irrelevant. But for me, it's the vibrations of gratitude, the vibrations of appreciation, and it seems like you've got that in abundance anyway. So you're grateful for being here, you're grateful being able to have the strength, like you said, all the things that you've put in place already, the things that you've learned now brings you to this place. And the fact that then yes, somehow the doors were meant to, were open for you to make it run smooth and easy for you. Just demonstrates really that actually when we start believing, then things do happen. If we can keep that mindset, if we can keep that positive vibration, then things do work out, or they work out how they're meant to, aren't they? I think it's that acceptance a little bit, that actually things will work out however they're meant to work out. And I think you said earlier, when you talked about your kids would be all right if you did die, nobody wants to think about that, but actually they will be, because you've already done the work. So it's not saying we want to kill you off or anything, my lovely lady. We'll keep you going a lot longer yet, because I'm sure you've got loads more to give, and this is just going to be a chapter or two in your journey of life. So that's really exciting. So with my idea of that, illness is a gift, how does that sit with you?
If you had asked me that months ago, I would have said, no, it's not. But it's just allowed for me to grow even more. Like, I've grown so much over the last few years since becoming a coach and getting my certification. And I've learned so much about myself. And I just look at this as it's another opportunity to grow, and to find out more of who I am and to become stronger.
Yeah. And I think that's what illness does. And I don't know about you, but for me, it's been an encouragement, if not a bit of a shove, to develop my spiritual practices, I think. And that, and I say spiritual, but it's self-awareness as well, about, like you say, learning about yourself, learning about how the body feels, and connecting not only into ourselves, but connecting to the earth and to the universe and to God, and to all the things that are there. And we sometimes, I don't know, we get carried away with life a little bit, and all the stresses and strains and things that, without being conscious about what's really going on in our world, really. And I say our world, but in our, in us.
Yeah, because you get so wrapped up in life and doing all of the things, and you don't really take the time to care for yourself. And when you become ill, you kind of have no choice. Like, the week after chemo, I'm tired. I go to bed at 9 o'clock at night and wake up at 7. I need to have that 10 hours sleep. or else I can't function well
Yeah.
through the day. So I've learned to say no to some things and not feel guilty for saying no, which is difficult for me because I'm a people pleaser. And I want to help all the people. And I've had to say no to some things. And I've realized that's okay. And the world doesn't fall apart. So it kind of sets the tone for once I'm down the road and I'm better, then I'll have already learned how to say no to some things and to take better care of myself.
Yeah, well, I think that's a lesson for anybody. So, you know, I've got multiple sclerosis, and that's like a chronic illness. And I think the same lessons really is you've got to, and I speak to people, you know, I'm speaking to different people all the time that are, you know, are living with a diagnosis and having to exactly that, learn how to put themselves a priority. And that is really, really hard. Especially when, you know, some people, a lot of people that I speak to, they're the ones that, you know, are saving everybody else. They're the ones that people come to. They're the ones that support people. And learning to say no, and learning to be okay with saying no, and actually changing the, you know, the relationships a little bit between you and other people. But it's so have you recognized that when you are saying no to people, what has been the sort of ripple effect, if you like, to people that you're saying no to?
Well, being sick, they're okay with it.
It gives you permission.
Yeah. Like if I say, you know what, okay, so this weekend, a good friend of mine, her granddaughter is turning a year old and they're having a big open house. And I had every intention of going. And now I'm thinking, my immune system is compromised. I can't be around all of those people. I can't afford to get sick right now.
Right.
So I've had to say, no, I can't go. And they're okay with that because they know that I'm immune compromised. Yeah. So it kind of gives me a free ticket. So I don't know what the ripple effect will be like down the road, but maybe by then they'll be used to me saying, no, I can't.
Well, maybe, yeah, and then it's practiced your saying no muscle as well, because I think that's part of it. We're so used to saying yes, 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 that we say yes before we've even considered what that actually means. So
have you ever said yes and immediately you're like, why did I say that?
Yes. Well,
I get out of it.
I actually backtracked recently. Well, I didn't just say yes, I offered to cook my ex dinner. So like, what? And then I realized that I'd only got like an hour to sort of cook, prepare, eat, and then get on to the next call. I thought, no, that's gonna have to stop. We're gonna not do that. Like, everyone can just like go and make himself a sandwich. That'll be fine. Yes. Like, what possessed me to do such a thing? So yes, I backtracked on that one very quickly, and I was very grateful that I did as well, because it would have been absolutely crazy. So yes, some things, you have to, but it is a practice. It is a practice, and if you've never said no to people before, and it's quite interesting because quite often I speak to people with MS, and because a lot of the time you may not even notice that somebody's ill, especially in the early stages of the disease. And some people have come back and said, no, but my kids won't, they think I'm just blagging it. They think I'm just, making up that I'm super tired. And so that must be a really challenging thing, that actually you've got resistance against your family to say, actually, no, you're fine. You're better than what you say you are. And I think,
well, I kind of had that years ago. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia.
Oh yes. I'd forgotten you'd lived through that one as well.
Yeah. So my family didn't understand how debilitating it could be some days. And I remember having a conversation with one of my family members, and same thing, like they thought I was just trying to get out of stuff. And so I found a whole bunch of information, research information, and I sent it to them. And they were like, oh, I had no idea that's how bad you felt. So sometimes it's just advocating for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And And I guess having the confidence to actually, you know, stand up for yourself and say, no, it's, you know, this isn't about you. Because quite often people like, it's like, yeah, I need this, I need you to do this, I need, yeah. But it's, yeah, you have to look after yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, so sorry, I've interrupted myself there. So how is the fibromyalgia these days?
Well, I had a naturopath tell me years ago when I was first diagnosed that if I changed the way I eat, I would feel better. And I thought that was a dumb thing to say. It made no sense to me. But then when I started getting my health coach certification, I obviously changed my way of eating. And lo and behold, when I changed my way of eating, I felt better. I wasn't as tired. My aches and pains weren't as bad. My hormones were balanced. I quit having hot flashes. My menopause seemed to be under control.
Wow.
So I very rarely have flare-ups.
And that's just through diet, do you think?
Yeah. Well, diet and just
Mindset.
overall, yeah, and taking better care of myself. And yeah, I notice if it does start to act up, it's usually when I've gone back to eating some of the
Right,
crappy
okay.
food too
Yeah.
much. Like I still have it once in a while, but it's
Yeah.
when I have it a lot that it really starts to affect me.
So is that like a mainly processed foods, or was there a particular food type that you had to, a food group that you had to give up, or, you know?
Yeah, it's mostly the processed food and sugar. It's not that I don't ever have sugar, but I was having sugar every day. Yeah. And of course, my diabetes was out of control, and my blood pressure and my cholesterol. And I was on $200 of medication every month for various
Wow.
ailments. And I don't take, other than now my chemo drugs, but I don't take any medications for anything. Everything's been balanced out and under control for a few years.
So what was your, I mean, you said that your doctor has said for your fibromyalgia that to change your diet, and you'd sort of thought, that's rubbish. So what was your motivation for learning about, you know, because you learn about nutrition, and you know, now you help people change their diets, don't you, effectively?
Yeah. Well, so
Well, no, we don't use the word diet, do we? Tell us more about
no,
that.
we ditched the diet. Yes. Yeah. Let's get rid of the diet mentality, because what happens is you go on a diet and then there's an end to it. And when you quit the diet, then you go back to eating all the same old foods that you ate before. And that keeps you on that up and down roller coaster. So this is just a lifestyle change. And I can eat whatever I want, but I choose to have smaller quantities. I had a client say to me one time, a friend told her, there's no junk food, there's only junk quantities. And it's very true.
Yeah.
Like a normal person can take a bag of chips, have a handful, and they're good. Where I would eat the entire bag of chips and a whole container of dip. And then I would need some chocolate because the chips were salty. So I needed the chocolate to even it out. And, you know, down the path I went.
Yeah.
But
Well,
at one point I had got up to 330 pounds, and I'm only 5 feet tall.
wow.
So my health was at its worst. And then I ended up in the hospital for 8 days in the ICU because I had a interstitial lung disease and my oxygen levels had gone to 60%.
Oh my goodness.
So the night I went into the hospital, they said had I waited until the morning, they would have had to intubate me. But even then I was on BiPAP, and I had fluid on my lungs. Like I was feeling, I didn't realize how bad I was because I was kind of out of it. But the whole family was called in, and
Oh my goodness. So
yeah,
actually you think about your health journey up until now, that actually you're, you know, the reason, well, one of the reasons probably that you're able to, you know, you're able to look as and feel as good as you are now is because you know, you've made those health changes.
yeah.
And, you know, change the diet, change your lifestyle. So did you change the diet? So was it, what was the hardest thing to change about your diet, would you say?
It was the feeling that I wasn't allowed to have certain foods. And I really had to get over that and change my mindset. Like, no, I can have it. If I want to, I can have it. Nothing is off limits. I can eat whatever I want. And one of the breakthroughs was I had read an ounce of dark chocolate is good for you every day. So I bought this great big dark chocolate bar and ate the whole thing in one night. And I thought, see, I can't do it. And then a few months later, I tried it again and I had just 1 ounce. And then I had 1 ounce the next night and the next night. And I thought, oh, I don't need to eat it all at once for fear that I'm never going to get it again. I can have it whenever I want. So I don't need to eat the entire chocolate bar. It's like having pizza. And if you think in your mind you're not allowed to have pizza, you're going to eat all kinds of it because you got to have that last binge before
you start again tomorrow.
Yes. So it was just realizing that I could have whatever I wanted, but I didn't need to have those huge quantities. I could have a slice of pizza and be okay with it.
Yeah. And actually, and I know from my experience with, experimenting with diet and eliminating certain food types to just see if it makes a difference, really. And it is if you do, I don't want to say go off the rails, but if you do eat something that you didn't really want to eat, or you wasn't on your diet plan, or wasn't what you were, it's just being okay with that, but also noticing how your body actually feels when you've eaten it. And to try and do that in a non-judgmental way. So because we tend to beat, as I say, we generally, but yes, I definitely would have beat myself up. You eat something, I don't want to eat that, I'm going to be really good, and then you eat it all and then you feel really bad, and then you beat yourself up, and then you feel worse about yourself, and then you probably goes and reach for some more chocolate because
it's that good and bad, and it's like eating is bad, not eating is good, and we keep doing that. So then when we think we're bad, we punish ourselves with more food, which then makes us feel worse. But you're absolutely right on paying attention to how it makes you feel. And I like to say, use it kind of as an experiment. Like, okay, yeah, I ate 4 slices of pizza. How am I feeling? I'm sluggish. I'm bloated. I'm tired. My body aches the next day. My mouth is dry. Like, okay, do I want to feel like that the next time? And you mentioned too about all of that kind of leading me up to this point. And I believe that you're right. Like, had I not made the lifestyle changes that I made over the last 4 or 5 years, I probably wouldn't be doing as well as I'm doing now. And even when I was talking to my daughter shortly after being diagnosed, and I said, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared. And she said, yeah, Mom, but you've come through so much and you're so much stronger now than you were before. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If it were any time that I were going to get it,
this is
the
time.
ideal time.
This is definitely your time. You're just doing an incredible job of motivating, I think, and just showing that actually it doesn't have to be, this is such, everyone's the C word, isn't it? Like, it's nobody wants to talk about it, and it is scary. It's not a nice thing. I do talk about illness being a gift. I never said it was a wanted gift. Nobody wants to be ill, do they? Let's face it. But I think if you can almost unwrap it and see the gift inside, see that greater awareness, see that ability to, because I think illness just comes along to tell us that we're out of balance somewhere down the line. Something's got to shift, and it might be as simple as saying no to a few more things than if you never said no to anything, you just ran yourself running around. It already seems like you're doing an amazing amount of stuff with a job and a business and 4 children and their partners and all your and it's great. And I talk about having, sometimes feels like we've got too much on the plate, but then realizing actually I've put it all there. you know,
Yeah.
have
Yes.
this plate of, but you, back to the food analogy, it's like, well, just because you've got all the food on your plate doesn't mean to say you have to eat it all in one go, you know.
Yeah.
And some things actually taste nice, you know, better than when they're cold or, you know, warmed up later or something like that. So it's just that idea that we don't have to do everything at once. We don't have to eat everything at once. We don't have to, yeah, be everywhere at once. It's learning to slow down and listen to what's in here, I think.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
yeah, really
And
key.
going back to the positive mindset, if you wake up every day and you say to yourself, oh, I've got I've got cancer, or I've got MS, or whatever your ailment is, and you define yourself by that, and you keep thinking of all the negative things, you're going to feel run down and tired and negative. And I remember when I was seeing my naturopath, I went in one day with the list because I thought, she's not listening to me. She keeps telling me to change my food and she's not listening to what's wrong with me. So I went in with the list of all the things that were wrong with me. And she looked at it and she said, I don't care. I was so mad at her.
What? I'm
Yeah,
paying you.
she's like, I don't care. This doesn't define who you are, and you're letting it define you. And I think that was, maybe only saw her one more time after that because I was really annoyed, and I thought, she doesn't get what's
Yeah,
wrong
what's
with me.
going with me? Yeah.
And now I get it. It doesn't define who I am.
No.
Yes, I have cancer, but that doesn't define who I am. I get to wake up every day and decide how I want to live that day. Do I want to be depressed? And
Yeah.
and I'm not making light of depression, because there is definitely, I've been clinically depressed before, and I get that. But it do I want to choose to be down
Yeah.
and to be negative, or do I want to choose to wake up every day glad that I'm still here and glad that I have the strength to fight it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that I've been doing quite a lot of work with intention recently, with the whole idea, because we talk about, as coaches, setting the intention quite a lot. It's in our vocabulary, isn't it? But actually working out what intention is. And it is that idea that, you know, I expect, you know, if you expect to have a great life, then you will have a great life, because things happen to us, but it's not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. It's just a thing, and how we
Yeah.
see it. And I think that intention's got a lot to do with that. So, you know, cancer, okay, I suppose you can argue that that can't be seen as a good thing. But actually, when you hear people and their stories of cancer, people that have survived it, quite often it you know, it shifts, it changes their life. And well, it does, doesn't it? You can't go through something like this and not change in some way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you've already said the amount of growth that you've experienced from, you know, being halfway on this, you know, on this healing journey. And so what the second half is going to bring you, you know, but again, it have that intention that it's going to be magical. It's going to be fantastic. I'm going to learn even more. I'm going to meet new people, because every time that you post and every time that you go into a hospital and you meet somebody, don't you? You've got somebody
Yeah.
to connect with, and you don't know who's around the next corner or what opportunities are there. So
Well, I
it's
joined a cancer group, and one of the women from the group reached out to me because I had posted, I think the day that I got my head shaved. So I posted the before and after picture, and she reached out to me, and we have become quite good friends because of it.
yeah,
Someone I never would have met before or had the opportunity to get to know. And she's so sweet. Actually, she's originally from Ireland. So
oh wow. She's a
yeah,
Brit.
yes. So I'm like, oh, yay. Yeah. So otherwise I wouldn't have had a chance to get to know her, and she's very sweet, and I'm so thankful for her.
Yeah, that was absolutely somebody that is you're able to share some of the stuff, because I think when you're, that's the joy of the support groups, and Facebook is great for things like that, isn't it? That you can connect with
Mhm.
people all over the world that are on a similar journey or face similar challenges and things like that. And if you're able to bring some positivity, hope and inspiration to that. I think yeah, they're a lucky group to have you as part of their congregation, as it were. So are you still coaching at the moment, or
I am. I wasn't sure what that was going to look like. You know, because I thought, okay, what if I'm not feeling good and I can't coach? So I just talked to my clients and said, like, this is what's happening. There may be some weeks where I have to bow out, but I mean, I love my clients. So it's not like it's a chore when I have a coaching call with them. I actually look forward to it. And I usually leave the call feeling better than when I started the call. So yeah, I'm still coaching.
Yeah. Well, coaching is great like that. And I think sometimes when you go along, you know, working with a client and things come out of the conversation, either you say things or they say things, and you sort of think, oh, I sort of needed to know that as well.
Yeah. Oh,
I should be listening to my own advice. I'm quite clever when I think about it. I'm a wise old soul, aren't I?
Yeah, that happens to me a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's all conjoined. So if anybody's, so your main audience now, you're still doing weight loss, is that your thing?
Well, it's funny, that's how we start out. But you know, the diet or how you eat, that's just the beginning.
Yeah.
It's really understanding why you make the choices you make, and how your lifestyle affects the way you eat, and all of that.
And
so
how
we
you
start
feel.
out we start out with coaching around the food, but it turns into life coaching, basically.
Absolutely. And I think the food's quite a tangible thing that people can, you know, you can realize actually you can take control over. And of course, so many of us have got like an emotional attachment to food. It's like, you know, it comes along with a whole load of baggage, doesn't it? Things that, you know, we ate when we were children and things that we were taught, and you know, just and of course the food industry doesn't help any of our endeavors at all, to say, let's face it.
Well, I have a client who, she's a fairly new client. So when she was feeling all the emotions, whether it was stress or anger or sadness or whatever, food was always the comfort. So we really worked on that and finding alternative ways for her to cope. And it's so cool watching it, because she didn't even notice that she wasn't turning to food anymore when she was stressed out. And
wow,
it was
that is a big shift, isn't it?
Because she was like, nothing's changed. And I said, are you kidding me? When we first started working together, you were eating all the time. And she would eat like a whole bunch of cookies. And now she doesn't even buy them anymore. She's able to walk past them in the grocery store. And she hadn't even realized how much it changed, because it changed just a little bit at a time.
Well, I think that's it, isn't it? It's those little tiny steps. And I know when I was doing my sort of diet experiment, and I was eliminating big chunks of, you know, food types out of just as an experiment, but for a number of time it's just whole aisles that I didn't even go down anymore, and the supermarket's like, oh, well, that makes shopping a lot quicker, doesn't it?
Yes.
You only need the vegetable and fish aisle, so makes things.
Well, they say if you shop around the perimeter of the store, pretty much everything you need is on the perimeter. It's stuff down the aisles that you don't need.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, yes, I think you're probably, they're clever, these.
The sale items are always on the end of the aisles. So, you know, you may, like, if you got to go take a quick jot down the aisle to get your coffee, but then you can come back out. You don't have to go the whole aisle.
No, that's it. And then you look, and when you sort of start waking up a little bit to what the food industry are doing, and you know, the choices are just crazy, aren't they? You know, the amount of different breads, for example, there are on, you know, it's not just one white bread, there's a whole aisle just of one type of bread, and it's just, it's a bit mind-boggling, really. But it definitely changes. It changes a lot, doesn't it? Once you start really digging deep and thinking, sussing out why it is you eat certain foods, and then you know, how that plays up. And chocolate now, it's like, you know, there's so many different types of chocolate, and then they, you know, it makes it better value to buy the biggest bar rather than, you
Yeah.
know, we always used to have just little bars. The little bars don't even exist anymore, or barely, or if they do, they're like, you know, almost as expensive as the big bar. So it's they
My
wanted
grandma
to,
used to buy chocolate bars. She'd buy one chocolate bar and she'd put it in the fridge. And every once in a while, she'd have a little piece of it and put it back in the fridge. And I remember as a kid thinking, how can you do that?
yeah,
Because I had this idea that I had to eat the whole thing. And I think it was that eat it now because who knows when you get to have it again.
yeah,
And now I'm able to do that. Yeah, I'll just have a piece of chocolate
yeah.
and I'll put the rest of it away.
And I can always buy some more if I want to get some more at a later date.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So how would, if somebody was interested in working with you or wanting to find out more about you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Kim Kenny. I have a free Facebook group as well, and the link for that is in my cover photo on my
Mhm.
Facebook group. I'm also on Instagram. Kim is losing 180.
Wow.
That's my goal, 180. Yeah, or you can email me, coachkimkenny@gmail.com.
So thanks for sharing that. You've been, obviously, you're now sharing your story with cancer, but before that you were sharing your weight loss story, and that's what, because you were obviously shrinking. And
Yes.
so what was the inspiration to sort of show up originally? Was that something you had to sort of work yourself up towards, or were you always just
It was so hard. Because the reason I got my health coaching certification was because I wanted to lose weight and I was looking for the perfect program, and I found coaching, and I thought, well, okay, even if I don't do anything with it, it'll help me.
Mhm.
Well, then I realized, okay, I can do something with this, but it was really hard because I was so overweight, and I thought, who's going to want to be coached by an overweight health coach? So that was a lot of mindset work that I had to do, working with my own coaches through the health coaching
Mhm.
school. And they said, Kim, you can tap into so many other avenues where us skinny people can't, because you understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, and it's
So
still very real to you, isn't it? That, you know, the
yeah.
challenges of losing weight and keeping on it. And
So I thought if I came out, I mean, it's not like I was hiding the fact that I was overweight, but I thought if I come out and tell everybody, hey, I'm
embrace it.
overweight.
Look at me.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm losing weight doing this, then that stigma is gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then people are like, oh yeah, she's just like me.
Yeah.
And so I kind of did the same thing when it came to my cancer.
Yeah.
Rather
It's
than hide
actually,
it.
this is
Yeah.
just what's happening. This is the truth of it. This is the highs and the lows and the scary
Yeah.
bits and the grisly bits and the fun bits and the, yeah. So
Yeah.
well done, you, and thank you
Thanks.
so much for coming on. And it's oh, you've got such a beautiful smiley face. So how I usually like to end this podcast or broadcast, it's still not quite a podcast, is just to end with a little bit of a mindful exercise. So do you use any sort of mindfulness in your practices at all when you're working with clients? Do you make meditation part of
I encourage
solution, if you
them.
like?
We do a lot of journal work. So when I'm working with clients, I'll give them a couple of times a week. I give them a video to learn from, and then I give them some journal prompts to work through. And so that gives them the opportunity to meditate on why they're doing what they're doing, and
Yeah,
how it affects their life. So yeah, we don't do anything necessarily one-on-one.
formally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're happy if I lead a little 5-minute meditation? And
Sure.
so this is one that I do, or the type of thing that I do is just getting into your body. So to start with, if you can make sure that you're comfortable, If you're sitting with your back supported, if you're sitting, have your feet flat on the floor. If you're lying, then just notice your feet, just allow your feet to be. And then if it's comfortable for you, you can close your eyes and take a nice, big, deep breath in. And as you're breathing in, just allow your body to fill up like a balloon and hold for a second or two, and then gently and slowly release. And as we take a couple more big, deep breaths in, really allowing your lungs and your body to fill. Because quite often in life, we almost don't have time to breathe. Making practices like this and being conscious of your breath and how it feels in your body, really helpful. I'm just going to be quiet for a minute or two so you can feel that breath filling up your body. If you hold it for 2 or 3 seconds at the top and then gently release. Empty your whole stomach out. And squeeze your stomach back towards your spine. Then hold with your breath out for a second or two before gently refilling your lungs again. This is a really simple exercise that just calms down your body, takes you from a place of feeling stressed or anxious to a place when your body feels calm and collected. When you're in this place of calm, just think clearer, feel more at peace. As your body's nice and relaxed, we do a brief body scan, which just means that you bring your awareness. So imagine you've got a torch or a light that's shining on the different parts of your body. So start with your head. Just notice how your head feels. Bring your awareness down to your ears. Then you notice what you hear. How your ears feel. As your awareness moves down your neck and shoulders, just notice how, as you bring your awareness to them, you relax. Bring your awareness down to your torso. Be aware that all of those organs that live inside your torso, all of those parts of your body that work without you having to force them or make them. Bring some appreciation and love into your body. Recognize how amazing it is, how it works, how it mends itself, how it heals. And bring your awareness down to your feet, your legs. Consciously relax your thighs, your knees, your calves and your ankles. And just notice how your feet feel. Sitting in this nice, calm space. tap into your body and acknowledge any areas that your body's drawing your attention to. It might be a pain or a tingle or an itch. Just acknowledge that you've noticed that part of your body. Give that part some love. Even if the feeling may not be comfortable or pleasant, it's there to show you something, to talk to you. Allow yourself to listen. Now, as we bring ourselves back into the room, just wiggle your toes and your fingers. And just allow your body to move however it wants to move. And as you open your eyes, put a smile on your face. It's just a simple body scan exercise that, you know, I don't think it's even taken us, what, 5 minutes, and you can do it in a shorter time. But it's just that the breath work, and this is what I'm learning more about as well, of calming, because a lot of us are in a place of stress a lot of the time. And actually simple breath work like that, it doesn't have to be a long practice, but can just help your body to calm down, which gives you more opportunity to heal. So,
For sure.
yeah.
As you were doing that, I was thinking, I encourage them to do breath work, but I haven't done it with them. And as we were doing it together, I thought this would be a really good thing to do with them, because I think sometimes they say, oh yeah, I'll do it, and they don't.
Well, this is it, because I am practicing it more and more now, but even then I have to force myself to stop, even for just 2 minutes, to,
Yeah.
you know, you can do a couple of rounds of the box breathing, which is to breathe fully in, to hold, and then to breathe fully out and hold, and do that just 3 times. But if you do it properly, you know, that's likely to take a, you know, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah.
So but you can do that anyway. You don't have to close your eyes. You can do it when you're driving. You can do it when you're standing in a queue. You don't have to zen out and sit down with you.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be.
yeah, exactly. You don't turn it blue or anything like that. You want to make it calm, and don't hold your breath too long. Oh. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and
thank you.
Wishing you all the joy and luck on your, well, I don't think you need luck, but all the, you know, the joy and strength and love and healing vibes and all that stuff that we can give you on the rest of your journey. And yeah, maybe we can touch base again later on in the year and see how you're getting on.
Yes, once the cancer is all gone.
Yeah, absolutely. And who knows what's around the next corner.
That's
because
right.
I think these things are definitely here to teach us something, and the sooner that we can embrace that learning and take from it what's meant to be taken from the gift, if you like, then yeah, the easier life becomes, and like you've experienced, actually doors start opening and things become a lot easier. So this is Julie Dallison, yes, and this is Kim Kenny, and contactable on Facebook, and I will be sharing the recording. I'll be sharing the recording, so I'll tag you in. So do connect, because she's an amazing lady. Thank you very much. I will